Something huge just happened in the world of Bitcoin. The US government is now one of the biggest Bitcoin holders in the world. But here's the twist. They didn't buy it, they seized it. That's right, the US now controls over 200,000 BTC, worth billions of dollars. But what does this really mean? Is this a bullish sign for Bitcoin, or could it be a dangerous power move? Let's break it all down. So, let's start with what actually happened. The White House just held its first ever crypto summit, where President Trump made a shocking announcement.
And welcome to the first ever White House Digital Assets Summit. This year, I promise to make America the Bitcoin superpower of the world and the crypto capital of the planet. And we're taking historic action to deliver on that promise, as you know, around the table. Yesterday, I signed an executive order officially creating our strategic Bitcoin reserve. And this will be a virtual Fort Knox for digital gold to be housed within the United States Treasury. That's a big thing, Scott.
The US government is keeping the Bitcoin it seizes from criminals and fraud cases instead of selling it like before. Where did this Bitcoin come from? The US government has been seizing Bitcoin for years, from dark web markets like Silk Road, fraudsters, and even cyber criminals. But now, instead of auctioning it off, they're holding it as part of a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Why is this a big deal? Because this is the first time a major government is openly treating Bitcoin as a strategic asset, just like gold. All right, now let's talk about why this could be one of the most bullish signals in Bitcoin's history. 1. A Bitcoin ban is now highly unlikely. Governments don't ban assets they hold in their own reserves. This move signals that the US is finally recognizing Bitcoin as a legitimate store of value. 2. Global Bitcoin adoption could skyrocket. The US is one of the most influential financial powers in the world. If they start stockpiling Bitcoin, other countries might follow. We could be looking at a future where Bitcoin is a core part of national reserves. 3. Institutional investors will take Bitcoin more seriously. If the US is treating Bitcoin like gold, how can major banks and hedge funds ignore it? This could lead to more Wall Street adoption, pension fund investments, and mainstream financial integration. But before we get too excited, let's look at the other side of the story. Some experts think this isn't as great as it seems. 1. Government control over Bitcoin? Bitcoin was created to be decentralized, free from government control. But now, the US is quietly becoming one of the biggest BTC holders. Could this be a way to manipulate Bitcoin markets? 2. Market manipulation, a risk? What happens if the government suddenly dumps all that Bitcoin? The price could crash overnight, wiping out billions in market value. 3. Is this just a political stunt? Some skeptics believe this is more about politics than Bitcoin adoption. Trump was once a crypto skeptic, but now he's suddenly pro-Bitcoin. Could this just be a way to win over crypto investors? So, what's next? Here's what we might see in the coming months. More countries might follow. If the US keeps Bitcoin as a reserve asset, we might see countries like Russia, China, and even European nations start holding Bitcoin too. Big investors might go all in. With the US government backing Bitcoin, hedge funds, pension funds, and major banks might finally get off the fence and start investing in BTC. Regulations could finally make sense. This could force the government to create clear, Bitcoin-friendly regulations instead of treating crypto like the Wild West. This is one of the biggest moments in Bitcoin's history, but is it bullish or dangerous? Do you think this is the moment Bitcoin finally goes mainstream, or is the government trying to take control? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more explosive crypto updates.